This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training advised that since the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has given the all clear for all islands following the passage of Tropical Storm Nicole, schools and education officers reopened this morning, particularly on New Providence, Eleuthera, and Andros. Meantime, schools and offices on Grand Bahama, Abaco, Bimini, and the Berry Islands will remain closed until NEMA gives the all clear for those islands. The University of the Bahamas here in the capital also resumed operations today. However, UB North in Grand Bahama remains closed. The public is encouraged to continue monitoring both the Ministry of Education and the university's official communication channels for a further announcement regarding the resumption of operations and classes at the various institutions. The Caribbean is one of the world's most vulnerable regions to climate change due to the greater frequency and intensity of natural disasters. This has created new challenges for small farmers who are the ones safeguarding the fragile food security in these countries. While addressing a panel at the United Nations Climate Change Conference, or COP27, Minister of Agriculture, Marine Resources, and Family Island Affairs Clay Sweeting spoke to the challenges small farmers in the Bahamas are facing and the problems posed by the lack of generational succession in agriculture.
Is facing another hurricane on the same track to Dorian, which was 3 years ago. Not as strong, but strong enough to cause issues for the farmers there. So when we speak about climate change and the effects of it, this is one of the reasons why farmers in these areas do not get involved in the sector, because it's a continued revolving door. And they face these issues and have to invest again, like I said. So currently, they're preparing for a storm while we sit here and speak about climate change. And being a millennial, still pretty young, millennials and young people want action. We sit here and have these discussions and speak about what needs to be done, what could have done, how we could do it. But the reality is, are we doing it? Right? Are we touching the people's lives in the Commonwealth, who we speak so much about?
Minister Sweeting also called for a greater level of unity between other Caribbean countries to better combat the effects small farmers are faced with due to climate change.
We need to have this unity, but with this unity, we need to affect the lives of the farmers, the lives of the people. That is the reason that we're here, the reason that we travel all these miles to speak and to meet with one another, is to find tangible issues, to solve those issues and the results that could touch their lives. So I hope that this unity, this discussion continues after these 3 weeks of COP, that we are able to go back to our people, to our respective countries, and say these are the results, whether it's in funding opportunities, where the Bahamas can't qualify a lot of the times because we're in this threshold where GDP was too high and we can't meet the threshold to receive funding. So how do we work together that we're able to solve these issues that we have been talking about for consecutive years?
The Agriculture Minister underscores the importance of sharing among Commonwealth countries, in particular with respects to innovation and technology in agriculture in order to attract new generations. He believes agriculture is not just about earning an income, but also about guaranteeing food security. He noted that due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the world has realized the importance of agriculture. In January 2020, the Inter-American Development Bank, the IDB, approved a $170 million conditional credit line for investment projects to advance deployment of renewable energy in the Bahamas, with the provisions of rooftop and ground-mounted solar items or solar systems rather, on New Providence and the Family Islands. This, in addition to other modernization projects funded entirely by the Inter-American Development Bank. Today and again on Friday, the Ministry of Finance, along with the IDB, is set to hold multiple workshops on e-mobility. Program Coordinator for Reconstruction Resilience in the Energy Sector, Marco Roll, says this sector of the project is focused on getting Bahamians on the path of renewable energy with their motor vehicles.
Everybody today is transitioning from regular automobiles to electric vehicle. That makes this workshop extremely critical for Bahamas. Indeed, you'd all be aware that even in California, the governor has given, indeed, I believe it's the transportation industry, have forecast that by 2035, it is intention to move away from gas-driven automobiles to electric vehicle. And as you read the various newspapers, you will see throughout Europe, the whole busing transportation, they're transitioning. And so for us, it is time for us to begin to look at ways in which we ourselves can prepare for this avalanche, I call it, that is coming. And what is so good about this is that it links with the government's overall policy for reducing our dependency on fossil fuel, while at the same time promoting carbon blueprints.
He goes on to say that if the Bahamas or Bahamians are successful with reducing carbon, we will not only reduce our resilience on fossil fuel, but also on the Bahamas Power and Light Company.
In so doing, that has a myriad of benefits for Bahamas, not the least of which, less subsidy being provided to BPL. As BPL balance sheet improves, so is BPL capacity to provide any savings on to our average consumer. Thirdly, it improves our foreign exchange because we're spending less on imports. Fourthly, you have a situation now where Bahamians are enjoying a better quality of life because A, they have more money in their pockets, the environment is cleaner, they're healthier. All of these things are interrelated. People might not take that into account, but I dare tell you, once I became involved in this, I began to appreciate the whole issue surrounding the carbon blueprint program that the government is now promoting.
The first workshop for the private sector was held today, and the public sector workshop will be held at 2 p.m. on Friday. And finally, National Public Service Week 2022 ended this past weekend with a fun run, walk, and health screening day, attracting scores of participants. The runners and walkers began on the grounds that house both the Ministry of Public Service and the Ministry of Health and Wellness on Meeting Street and walked to the Malia roundabout at Cable Beach before heading back to the ministry headquarters. Just before the medal presentation, the Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Michael Darville, and Minister of State for the Public Service, Pia Glover-Rold, thanked the participants while confirming plans for the overall health improvements of the country and acknowledging the hard work and dedication of the public servants. And that'll do it for your JCN Evening News. Once again, I'm Jarino Saunders. Thanks for joining us.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.